Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Monday, the 5th of October, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar. We see here it's been relatively flat the last few days. It did fall a bit last week after that very big week that we had the week before, which was the biggest week for the dollar since March. So we have got a situation where the dollar's looking like it's bottomed and it's trying to recover, but short term and medium term we are still bearish. Of course, this low here is very significant, around 93.50. Remembering this is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute chart, my long-term, medium, and short-term view of the market. We take a look at the euro dollar. We're sitting at 117.45, just up a bit on that recent dollar weakness. But what's interesting here is that we do have that top pattern, and we are seeing potentially that what was support could become resistance. So this might well be a rolling over pattern in the euro. We just need to watch that. Sterling sitting at 129.55, so that's recovered a little bit as well over the last week, just trending up slightly. Looks like we found some support on the daily cloud there. The sterling chart actually looking better and better against the weaker dollar there. So the long-term chart looking better with an upside target. We had some very worrying downside targets hanging over us. So sterling looking stronger this week. Euro against sterling is 110.28, so we are just seeing that the general decline in sterling is just continuing, although we have got a little bit of a short-term improvement there. Taking a look at Bitcoin, we're sitting at $10,680. That's back into bullish territory on the short-term chart, so things looking a little bit better for Bitcoin there. S&P 500 index, the US market was down 1% on Friday. That gave us a pretty bad end to the week. So we've got this weekly candle there. We need to now just watch whether we can hold this cloud support. We did move back into bullish territory in the week, but Friday was a little bit of a disappointment. And of course, we do still have these downside targets hanging over, some 20% lower on the Nasdaq, although we are actually just holding on into the new bull trend there. So it'll be very key. If we make new lows, that's the really bad sign, of course, for the market. And we have activated these downside targets, so that's also something that just does hang over us right now. The Dow was down 0.5%, and looking at the futures this morning in London, we're up 0.5% on the S&P future and up 0.8% on the Nasdaq future. So it looks like the US market will open higher. The VIX volatility is up though. We're up 6%. The fear index, remember. So we are just seeing that as well. We're moving there. So we are just seeing this gradual increase in the VIX. So that's something just also to worry about. But for the moment, markets look set to open higher for the day. The FTSE future in London is up 0.2%. The cash market in Germany, the DAX, is up 0.6%. Just starting to reverse that trend. Of course, we have got this downside target here on the medium-term chart that's not yet activated. New lows would do that. And the CAC Quarante is up 0.75%. We do have downside targets here that have been activated, some 11% lower. A lot will depend, of course, on what the US does. Japan was up sharply. It was up 2%, almost 2% in overnight. And if we look at the Hang Seng, that was up 1.3%. After the holiday week in China, the Chinese market actually was down slightly and is just trending lower. So we do see a risk of stocks breaking out here just below this sort of sideways range that we've seen building on the market there. So that's quite key. Taking a look at the Sensex in India, we are sitting 1% higher. And the Aussie market put in a very strong showing, up 2.5%. Having really struggled, the Australian market falling away quite heavily, we just haven't managed to get back to new highs. Remembering that most other markets, US certainly making new highs there. Taking a look at gold, we're sitting at 1896. We were just nudging the 1900 mark, just holding the bull trend there. Of course, the long-term chart's still looking great, but the shorter-term downside potential is still there. Silver is up 1% this morning, having had a very bad week the week before last, but we are just holding on to that short-term bull trend. Looks like some cloud support being active there. US 10-year yields sitting up as well. We're up to 0.71, so we've been in a really big sideways range, but we are nudging the top of that range again, so we are just seeing yields looking a bit stronger there. Taking a look at the energy mix now, we've got Brent crude up 2%. We were bearish last week. That turned out to be the right call. The key thing here is we have made this lower low, and that is, we've not quite made it convincingly, but a move below $39 in a sustained fashion would be very bad for the oil price, pushing us back into the low 30s. We do have this target of 38 to 32 hanging over us, and also a couple at 36.50. So we are seeing crude potentially lower. Looking at WTI, the level here is $37, and again we've got downside pressure, but we have got some short-term upside targets, so we are seeing a little bit of recovery there. US nat gas up 4%, so we are seeing an improvement there. We just do need to watch this support level having fallen away quite heavily. Coal is sitting up this morning, but really has been breaking lower, and we've activated this downside target. We've been bullish on coal for some weeks, but we've just turned bearish there now. Emissions are down this morning. They're looking like they might make a break, but they're actually just falling back. But we are just slowly getting through this cloud. 26 is the key level there. If we fall through 26 euros, all bets are off. We then go back to test the 25 support level, and we fall through that, and bad news for emissions. But the chart is still bullish. This is consolidation pattern long term. If we break 31 euros, then we're going to the moon. Looking at MBP, we see the trend still up here. TTF, it's a little bit less clear, so we are just seeing here TTF just falling away a little bit, and the same is true of seasonal gas. In seasonal Dutch gas, we're just seeing that falling this morning slightly as well. It was actually just holding that trend, but at the moment transition looks potentially likely. German power had a bad week last week, falling through the 40 euro mark, or touching 40 euros, but we did actually get back this morning back above that, but we are in this situation where we've got targets in either direction, so it's just looking a little bit less clear. The long-term chart is still bullish. We've got this nice uptrend here, and we have got this potential break out of this triangle. If we break above 43 euros 50, that would be very good for German power. It would run much higher. French power not looking so good. Breaking down last week, we were bearish here, and this trend is breaking. So we are looking less clear on French power, and we do have downside targets there as well. Dutch power is up 2.5% this morning, sitting in its range. Not much change there. Same is true of Czech power. We're just sitting in this range at the moment, and we are seeing improvements in Nordic power this morning, up nearly 2%, and quarterly contract also just up 1.4%. Just a little bit concerning that we've put in a bottom for sure, but we need to get back above the cloud, and we've got targets in both directions. Last of all, a quick look at UK power. We see here that we are still in that range as well. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.